Hello, welcome to Achieving Integrated Digital Enterprise by Connecting Disparate Systems with Siemens Teamcenter. My name is Brian Schouten. I do technical pre-sales for PROSTEP Inc. And we're going to be talking today about how we can leverage Teamcenter PLM and integrate that across different silos or divisions to try and build your digital enterprise through integration. We're going to start today with a PROSTEP overview and then go into some integration strategy, discussing challenges and then different techniques to overcome those to try and integrate your digital enterprise. Then talk about our products and solutions that we have in order to assist with that. And then follow up with some examples and demo a couple of integrations. So a little company overview. We've been around for almost 30 years, and we are a vendor-neutral, independent engineering, integration, and data exchange solution provider. We were started along with our nonprofit sister company, the PROSTEP IVIP Association, about 30 years ago in Europe, in order to solve the challenges really of automotive data exchange at the time. So trying to transfer data between tier ones and OEMs there, and then expanded from that to all other large manufacturing industries. And specialize really in consulting and then also products in order to support that for doing that type of data exchange. Our four main products are at the top. OpenPDM is our integration and migration platform that includes commercial off-the-shelf adapters for most major systems. OpenDesk is a CAD translation as a service. OpenDXM GlobalX, or GlobalX for short, is our secure data exchange portal with deep integration into engineering data systems. And then we have our TDP and web-based visualization tools as well with our PDF Generator 3D. So a little bit about PROSTEP IVIP. This is our nonprofit standards sister company, and they really focus on trying to bring together all types of industry in order to come up with the best practices or standards in information data exchange and engineering. So some of the more recent accomplishments are Step 242 and maintenance of that. They've got long-running groups for LOTAR, long-term archiving, RecIF, and then a lot of now systems engineering integration type projects. So that includes this cross-discipline lifecycle collaboration, or smart systems engineering, and others in order to try and build the best practices for bringing together that data. The PROSTEP IVIP has been focused on building standards throughout the product lifecycle in order to exchange data really at every point. So that might be starting with requirements with RecIF, working with UML and SysML for systems engineering, model-based systems engineering, through JT or OpenJT and STEP AP242, and FMI or IDX, OSLC for federation and link data integration, and all the way to JT or STEP for long-term archiving. So trying to find a neutral exchange solution and work out the best practices for those all the way through the life cycle. One thing that makes PROSTEP unique within the industry is that we are neutral, and we don't resell products of other vendors, but we do have tight, long-running technology partnerships with all the major product vendors. So that includes Siemens. We are a Siemens Foundation partner and support, OpenPDM and OpenDXM GlobalX and PDF Generator products. to integrate into the different Siemens software. But that also includes the other major vendors. And this leads to us being able and capable of working within these different environments very effectively, and not solely focused on just one, but have experience and know-how over these 30 years of how to integrate these. So now let's take a look at a little bit of integration strategy. So we're seeing a growing need for digital asset management and integration of those digital assets into what people are calling digital thread or integrated digital enterprise. A lot of that's driven by just complexity in general. So that could be product complexity, more components, more software, more electrical components, different tools used for different purposes, creating different digital assets that need to be managed effectively. And all those kind of bring together a cumulative risk. And that risk is really kind of a knowledge gap between different silos, between the suppliers and the OEMs. And you're not bringing the information or having the information traceable, for the user who needs to consume that data and do their job effectively at the time. And all those cumulative risks, I think could be solved effectively by allowing that information to go to the user in a timely fashion. So with this digital integration, you can bring the right information to the user who needs to consume it, make sure that they can use that for their own validation, which will effectively make the product better earlier in the cycle, and lower, the overall cost, speed the development effort, make sure there's not late changes, and really kind of reduce the overall risks that you see from this type of complexity. There are also different challenges in moving through the product lifecycle, and kind of the different domains that exist within there. One of them is this interdisciplinary challenge. So how do you get software, ECAD, mechanical CAD to kind of work in coordination at a specific point within the product lifecycle? But then there's also, the vertical model, right? So how do you trace from the product definition to the requirements, the functional breakdown to the actual components, and how the system is supposed to be organized, and then the validation of it as well. So bringing back from the analysis, make sure that the mechanical tests are okay, or from the software, the unit tests are working, and then all the way up to the functional sign off, right, and the product being out and doing what it needs to do. So all these have really unique challenges to them as well. Some of them more focused on supplier collaboration, others, internal and breaking down the silos within your organization itself. So one strategy to use in integrating, which is popular with data exchange between customers and suppliers, is the use of neutral formats. That could be different formats depending on the domain. There's a wide variety of them out here on the chart here. They do somewhat suffer from a little bit of data loss, and then also they're very domain specific. So, if you're focused purely on mechanical design, or if you're focused on requirements or system models, or integration tests, or any of those things, then you can find a format that works effectively for you. But besides probably OSLC, they don't bridge the gaps very well. But they can contain the data, in a self-contained binary envelope effectively that can be transported between different systems. And that's an effective mechanism for communicating data. The PROSTEP strategy and focus on integration is mostly a repository to repository one. That's because if you're using these different authoring tools and different clients, typically you want to master that data in a configuration managed environment like a PLM or an ALM or an ERP. And then have visibility to that data maybe across these different applications and repositories. So once that data is configuration managed, you can use different tools for moving that data. The widely used one is replication. So that includes the ability to move binary content like files or just data between different systems. Sometimes that's needed because the binary file needs to be consumed by the other clients in order for them to do their job, like CAD data within a manufacturing or analysis system. But there's other techniques like federation, providing just a traceable link that a user can go and look for the data within the other system. Performing a migration, you could have an integration to consolidate data or transition between the different repositories, or a one-time repository move in order to put it in a more platform type repository and centralize it. We also do translation and moving data formats to neutral formats like STEP or other types of formats between the different clients, and that's effective for external supplier and customer integrations and data exchange as well. So, but the core focus is moving data that's already configuration managed within one of these repositories to another one. So with these strategies in mind, we've come up with what we call our API for the digital thread. At the bottom of this slide, you see different authoring applications. And so these applications then have traditionally a repository where that data is then configuration managed and released, and a known master data can be shown there. And with that data, then we want to connect to that specific artifact within that configuration management system and be able to, give that artifact to any of those other systems that need it effectively. So we can do different background processes, that focus on use cases, exchanging data between systems. We could federate data with OSLC or with direct federation between different systems, in order to provide traceable links. We could package data up into using our step converter as step format to allow that to be collaborated and securely transported between different suppliers or customers, and put those in TDPs as well, right? So build these packages of data that may incorporate, not just what you might think of as a manufacturing TDP or engineering TDP, but data from other sources that can all be utilized in order to perform some specific role task. And so altogether, again, we're calling this our API for the digital thread because we've got these different tools that we can use together in order to build all that traceability and build that digital integrated enterprise. So we do see some standard use cases in digital enterprise integration that are more common than others. Now, all of them vary a little bit organization to organization on what type of data they need to move, but in general, a lot of them come down to these. The first is a PLM to ERP or MES. So taking what you've already developed out of engineering and that engineering BOM and creating manufacturing data within the ERP or MES system. And this is typically the first integration between PLM and anything else. Another one that's somewhat common is analysis and PLM. So replicating CAD data, putting that into the simulation data management system so that they can perform tests and analysis on that, and then moving the results back to PLM. We see change dependencies and trying to bridge the data between ALM and PLM to bring software and hardware together. System traceability for model-based system enterprise to allow for validation within those systems that might bring in traceability to artifacts that are throughout the process. So that could be software artifacts or requirements or test cases or design artifacts. And then, production scheduling, forecasting, and then cases bring in data either from manufacturing with Industry 4.0 or IoT and sensors on products that are out in the wild that are driving changes in how to manufacture data or changes in software to make it better or changes in mechanical designs as well that might prevent the problems that are out there. So with all that in mind, let's take a look at some of the products that we use in order to solve some of these integration challenges. So PROSTEP offers 3 core products to create this integrated digital enterprise. The first is OpenPDM on the right. This is a set of off-the-shelf connectors and toolkit internally in order to process data that enables replication and federation and migration of data between different systems, including Teamcenter. We also offer OpenDXM Global X on the upper left. That's a secure data exchange platform that can then also do automated exports and imports and send them to the customers and receive them from the customers and suppliers. And then also our TDP generator with our PDF Generator 3D that can take data from different sources. That could be Siemens Teamcenter, but then also other types of sources to come up with a kind of a role-based document system that can publish to other users that don't have access to that data natively, and they want to see it either in HTML5 or within a PDF. So OpenPDM Teamcenter integration uses a variety of different interfaces in order to enable the right type of data to be exchanged. Primarily, we use our Teamcenter connector, and that interfaces to the Teamcenter SOA interface. And that SOA interface is kind of how a portal client would interact with Teamcenter and supports a lot of that functionality. So creation of the items and revisions and changes, data sets and other objects like that. But then also we have our controllers that are used for different types of CAD. The UG clone controller for NX that enables NX to be exported or imported, or our CAD controllers for CATIA, Creo, and SolidWorks that use the Teamcenter integrations and the batch APIs for those in order to interoperate with those to make sure that that CAD data is effectively exported and imported as it should be. And then all the standard tools of OpenPDM then can be leveraged along with that. And that could be automating processes to do replication or integration or migration, with staging databases, creating STEP from our STEP toolkit, or just exposing it with web services to Enterprise Service Bus or other consumers of that data with our connectors. So the power of OpenPDM is really fundamentally at the different connectors, and that each connector has the same standard interface of same data model, same set of queries in order to work with these systems. So if you're pulling data out of one system, you can easily transform it and put it into another because it's already within this neutral format. And then you can plug that into our OpenPDM process server or another type of process engine in order to come up with these multi-system workflows in order to move data between the different systems to get them to where they need to be. So that could be you're combining different CAD data from one system, ERP data, ALM data, bring that together, and then push that into another system. Like in this example, maybe moving different data from these systems into Teamcenter. We also have mapping services and batch services to do enable the easy transformation of the data in that neutral data format itself, or to translate data, maybe create lightweight representations, or generate step data in order to move it between. So moving on to collaboration with suppliers and partners and customers. We offer our OpenDXM Global X secure exchange portal. And this is a toolkit that you can use in order to exchange all sorts of data securely between your organization and others. We try and make it easy to use, making it easy to adopt. We've got Outlook plugins, right-click and send to in Windows, Dropbox-like, folder shares, and then also deeper integrations to PLM. So we've got a Teamcenter client integration that enables you to package up data that you would want to send, and then with that, specify where you want to send it to, and then Global X will behind the scenes, use our different connectors in order to export the data in the right format, transform it into something that maybe your customer demands it might be in, with the right quality checks, the right environments, those type of things, rename files if it needs to, and package it up, and then send it securely over to them. And then the same on the way back, right? So this portal enables you to have a place where they can securely drop data, and then have automated processes evaluate that data, check for the quality, do comparisons of what's already existing, and import the data into Teamcenter. And this works with CAD data using our UG clone and TCIC IPEM and SWIM interfaces. And then also other data, right? Like step data, JT, other types of data sets as well. We can also combine this with our PDF generator in order to generate TDPs, in order to ensure compliance on technical delivery, or to really get rid of the data that you don't need out there and kind of package it up so you can have the right data with the right role to the right user. To expand on that a little bit, our 3D PDF generator suite also utilizes the same interfaces with our Teamcenter connector and our CAD controllers in order to pull data out, push data in, and allows you to generate TDPs. This could be your standard manufacturing or design TDPs, but then also, could include other sources, right? Could be include ERPs for quote information that includes maybe PLM data. Could also be used in order to archive data or deliver it to a customer in a format that they use and for permanent record of the design. Could be used to capture, different work instructions, analysis, maintenance manuals, and we have some automated processes that can kind of combine the data between those sources in order to have the right steps, and then a client that we can use in order to animate it if you need to for work instructions and maintenance manuals. So finally, we'll showcase some integration examples. So our first demo is CATIA V6 integration with Teamcenter. And what we're going to do is start within Teamcenter, and we're going to show within the TCIC the CATIA CAD that's stored within here. And we'll load that in CATIA. And then this enables you to then, work within the design in CATIA within Teamcenter, but then also maybe push that over for, in this case, an electrical harness that can be added within 3D Experience and CATIA and 3DX, and then brought back again into Teamcenter with the final result. So in this case, we're using our little widget that can federate some data and pull the data into 3DX. In the middle here, you see our OpenPDM process server that has the activity that's moving the data. We go ahead and we find that, and we'll load that in 3DX in the CATIA Compose and Product Structure Editor. And then we want to go ahead and add that harness information. So you go and you start modeling it and use the product structure design, add the harness to the nose cone. And then with the harness added, we go ahead and send it back, and we initiate the transport back through the XPDM interface of 3DX. And what this is doing is sending it back to PROSTEP OpenPDM. And OpenPDM then is pulling out the CATIA v5 data from the XPDM interface and then importing that through our TCIC controller back into Teamcenter. So what we want to do is show that you can work within both these systems with some bidirectional CAD exchange, and just kind of demonstrate, that this is capable. Second demo that we want to show is the Windchill and Teamcenter Creo integration. What we're doing here is we're going to trigger it from Windchill. We're going to export the data using both our Windchill connector and our J-Link Creo CAD controller. We're going to map it. We're going to import it into Teamcenter with our Teamcenter connector and using the IPEM interface, and then show the final result within Teamcenter. So we're going to start here. We're in the OpenPDM admin interface and also within Windchill. In Windchill, we can show this alternator that exists within Creo there. We can make sure that it also doesn't exist within Teamcenter, kind of the, nothing's up your sleeve. So we're going to go ahead and search for it within the Teamcenter web client. And then go back. I think in Windchill, take a look, open that up in Creo. When you open it up in Creo, you can see how it's represented, all the components there, and annotations, things like that. And it should be the same, effectively, when it gets pushed into Teamcenter. So we want to show that. So we go ahead. We have this Sync Creo CAD to Teamcenter action menu that we added here just for demo purposes in order to show that initialized. A lot of times we want to actually automate those. So it could hit a lifecycle state in Windchill or need to be pushed to Teamcenter for another reason, but we don't want to have the user driving that always. We want to have the business process driving that. So we're showing a little bit in the middle. This is our neutral data format, and it's visualized in kind of a graph. That has the EPM document structure that's pulled out of there. So we go ahead, search again in Teamcenter. We find the result. It was the same time. And we are opening this result. We see that all the item revisions have been created in the right order. And then we go ahead and look within TCIC in order to open that data, that Creo data, out of Teamcenter as well. So we go ahead and we find that, select it, open it up, and we have the same thing that we opened up previously within Windchill, now available within Teamcenter. So this process is also bidirectional, right? So we can pull similarly data, could be Creo data, could be NX or CATIA, out of Teamcenter, and push that back as well. Or, for TC for Sim, work with result sets that might be, like documents. Thanks for watching the presentation. I hope you found it insightful. Please remember, PROSTEP's here to help on this path to an integrated digital enterprise. Feel free to reach out to me or to PROSTEP, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again.